what's up, guys? When I was in Cape Town, I look a bit rough. I've been editing. So when I was in Cape Town, I did a video with a restaurant and coffee bar called Basilei, and I was busy editing that for you guys. As I said in the previous video, I do want to give you guys more value from an entrepreneurial perspective. So I spoke to a guy that's just opened a restaurant that side, and we had a really good chat. It was awesome. And as I've said, I mean, I've really been struggling to keep up with the videos. Anyway, long story short, I lost some of the video because my battery wasn't charged for some reason. I think my battery charger went off while I was charging it, or something happened, but my battery wasn't fully charged. So you'll see in the video is going to be a bit jumpy because the camera kept switching off. We had to keep charging it and then going back to interview and keep charging it and go back to interview, and with that I also lost some of the audio, and so even though we recorded some audio on the side, some of the audio is a bit messed up, and so but I mean you'd be able to hear it. It just won't be crisp, and I just want to apologize about that from my end, but I'm still hoping you guys will enjoy the video. I'm hoping everyone's doing well. Peace. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Adam Zappel here. As you guys know, I'm Adam the manager, Adam the digital guy, Adam the businessman, and yeah, welcome back to the channel. As you know, I've been kind of going back and forth, thinking around this whole way of catapulting the business to the next sphere. And I've been talking about creating content for you guys that you guys can actually learn from, that you guys can actually gain something from, and talking about other entrepreneurs, what they do, what they've learned, processes and things that they've gone through. And right now we've been able to do that. And so yeah, we've been busy creating content for you guys for the past about 2 weeks. And from my end, I thought that this was a great opportunity where I was able to find a place. It's in Cape Town. And I didn't even think I'd be doing this. I'm actually here visiting family, and it was not planned. My brother of all people, and I'm ashamed guys, but I'll say it, my brother of all people actually took me to this really great place. It's called Basilei. It is in Somerset West, in Basileis. And yeah, man, it's a great place. We had a great breakfast here, and the owner of the restaurant was here. And I spoke to him, and while we were talking, I was like, this is a place that I think would be great to document, that will be able to give value to some of my viewers, some of the guys that watch the vlog, and stuff that you learn about. I know that most of the time I do a lot of talking, but it's time to actually let someone else that you guys can learn from do the talking. And that's how we have Izzy here. Awesome. And Izzy's going to introduce himself. And then from introducing himself, we're going to then get into the video about the business, who he is, why this business, and how this business came into play. And so, yeah, without further ado, Izzy is going to introduce himself to you guys. How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, very good. Thanks for stopping by. Firstly, really appreciate the opportunity. My name is Istvan, or Izzy, as the guys call me. I'm married to Jessica. She's from the United States of America. Actually, they're visiting family at the moment, so free as a bird right now.
Hi, Jess.
Hey, Jess. And yeah, so born and raised here in Strand, in the Helderberg. Lived abroad for a while, came back about 5 years ago. That's where I met Jess, met her in Oz. And yeah, now we're in our cafe, which is about 2 months old right now. So yeah. And
just I'd like you to tell us more about you, about because I'm trying to get it from a space of the people learning about this brand,
right?
But before the restaurant. So what's created this in you?
Yes. So I was raised Afrikaans in South Africa. So you know, without having to go into a history lesson, that means that naturally we are conservative, in our thinking process, but also with that conservative mindset tends to come a fairly decent work ethic. And so when I moved abroad, it really was an opportunity for me to see how work ethic can be applied not just to traditional career paths, but really applying that work ethic, if you will, to more creative spaces, to attempt to build a brand in a place like South Africa. And just the exposure overseas introduced me to particularly cafes, interior spaces, and product developers that are brand conscious, focused on customer experience. And that experience really it just inspired me. And I thought, man, how is it that I can introduce people at home to something like this? And at the same time, I also don't just want to cater for people that come from my background, but I just thought, man, what an incredible opportunity to pull a diversified culture, like here in South Africa, into the process, to showcase it to anyone and everyone, really. And that, in a nutshell, is how I feel my heritage / experience abroad really intermarried, if you will, and Basilei's genesis was that was Basilei's genesis. So moved back and just thought, what is it that I can do with this experience and the creative, the desire to have a creative outlet.
Can you tell us about Basilei, the name, and how that connects to what you're trying to build here?
Right. So, having studied abroad, I had to translate some ancient manuscripts, and one of the words that just resonated with me is the word Basilei, which is an ancient Greco-Roman word. It's not used anymore in Greece today, and it means majesty, royalty, or kingdom. And for whatever reason, at the time when I was studying, I didn't think of Basilei as a business. The word just resonated with me, and what I felt it represented it just stuck with me. And so when we started brainstorming, our initial product range, which started as Confectioner, and we thought we need a brand that matches what we thought was a really high quality product, and an excellent production process, real artisanal process. And so I just, it was like a pin that dropped. like the light bulb that just went on. It's like I just thought, well, Basilei. We're really trying to exemplify something that's excellent, something that's, not royal or majestic, but that carries that type of weight. And so that's how the name and the ethos of the brand was birthed.
There's something I want to ask you, and that is based around something that I've just realized, that you're being very, what's the word? Chilled about what it is that you guys do here, and I know that you kind of don't want to cast a shadow on other places or on anybody else, but would you say that you guys make the best breakfast in this area? And from there, would you say you guys make the best cup of coffee in this area?
I would answer the latter before the former.
Please do.
I do believe strongly that what it is that we're showcasing from a caffeine point of view in the Helderberg hasn't been done before, as far as introducing a specialty grade bean in the Helderberg by the guys at Rosetta Roastery, and then obviously the processes that are implemented in order to actually showcase, to do the bean justice. And so I would back our guys in saying, yes, we make one of the best cups of coffee in the Helderberg. As far as breakfast is concerned, I've got a lot of respect for what a lot of the guys are doing in our area, in the Cape Winelands / Helderberg in general. There's a lot of incredible chefs that are showcasing their gift and their vision for a great culinary experience. And so I would say this. I would say that where we've drawn inspiration from is not necessarily what's already being done in the Helderberg, but really just from some of my favorite cafes in Melbourne and Sydney, San Francisco. Austin in Texas,
Yeah.
you know, which is actually a very conservative environment as well, but not the city itself, but Texas as a whole. And so we've tried to draw inspiration from outside sources rather than just going, what are some of the other guys doing?
Okay, okay.
So yeah.
So you're trying to create something outside of your box.
That's right.
Well, that's not in anybody else's box in some way, but you're pulling inspiration from the different boxes.
Yeah, and at the same time, you know, the customer, there's some customers that are going, you know, I just want eggs on toast when I walk through the, you know, that's my breakfast.
Okay.
That's my breakfast routine. You know?
Okay.
And so
And you'll give them that.
we'll give them that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think from my side, the link that I'm trying to make here is obviously, as you've told us where you come from and who you are, and then from there where the name of the businesses come from, but also what it is that you guys do. I'm trying to find the link from there. But before we do that, what I do want us to speak on is just some of the challenges and some of the hurdles that you have to come across, or that you have to go over to create this space,
Right.
and to have a business like this. Because a lot of the guys that watch the channel are trying to be entrepreneurs or trying to do business in one or another form, and there are certain hurdles that they will go over or have challenges with, and being able to kind of speak to that, and for them to see that there are actually people that have businesses that maybe have gone through the same issues, would be something that would be helpful for them, or maybe the way in which you communicate that might give them a solution to some of the issues that they're facing with their small business or with their SME that's already existing or that already has clients, but is trying to get to the next phase.
Yeah. Well, I think first of all, I'd say that, you know, when I speak on challenge, it's almost, you know, you're not speaking on the other side of the challenge, looking back at the challenge. It's you're speaking from within the eye of the storm, if that makes sense. You know, I think, you know, as small and medium enterprise in South Africa, you really are never at a position where you're going, now I've got millions of cash in the business, and finally I can execute on my vision. You know, and so I think the reality as entrepreneurs in a place like South Africa, where, you know, getting businesses off the ground, ironically, for an environment that needs work, you know, we have to jump hurdles that other more open economies in the world doesn't necessarily have to get through. And what that presents us with is the challenge of for me personally at least, the biggest challenge is an internal one. And that is fighting the battle or the tension of the vision that you have internally for a brand or a product or a service versus everything around me seems to be very restricted, semi-imploding, and how is it that, you know, I'm identifying opportunity in the midst of all of this? And so for me personally, I'm going, the biggest challenge is actually internal. Although many entrepreneurs would say the challenge is out there, you know, the challenge is because the economy is poor, the challenge is because you know, the government is doing this, or the challenge is because people with money are immigrating, or the challenge is, so they're going, there's all of these external factors that's dictating why my business isn't growing. And I think for me, I've gone, actually, just being an entrepreneur is challenging. You know, whether you're in, you know, whether you're in Scandinavia, where people have plenty of disposable income to spend on goods and luxuries that they don't actually need, or whether you're in a place like South Africa where there is challenge and there is restriction, I just think that the biggest battle is actually internal, where I'm going, I have this vision, I don't have all the resource that I need, so how is it that I find the internal fuel to continue to create momentum within the business? And for me personally, the answer has always been to look at what it is that I can offer the people that are working within the business, and what value proposition that I have for the customers outside of the business that continues to inspire me to build the brand. That makes sense.
I think it does. So you're saying that instead of blaming the terrain or the business terrain in the country, you've taken that upon yourself, and you've kind of created your own, if I'd say, way to not solve that problem, but create something out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm encompassing what you're saying in the right way. Am I?
Yeah, I think we're in the right domain. But I do think to labour over all of the issues that I can't actually control.
Okay.
To in my mind, in how I envision the business, to look at every possible reason why it can't succeed. You'd rather look at the issues that you can solve, and that you can deal with, right,
and then move from there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because the reality is, even like for instance, if you've got cash flow problems or whatever, just because that restriction is on your business doesn't mean the restriction applies to a bank or an investor or you know what I mean. So it really is a matter of going, I need to change the way that I'm thinking about the problems.
Yeah.
You know, to fry some fish that I can.
Okay.
Instead of going, oh, but the government's doing X, Y, Z.
Okay.
And immediately I'm immobilized in my ability to creatively solve problems and to move a brand forward.
Okay.
So yeah.
I hear you. And I think that a lot of people can learn from that. And excuse me. In just looking at different ways to create their own reality.
Right.
And it's actually a funny thing. There's a thing that Steve Jobs used to do, where he used to deflect what was realistically happening around him and to him, which is what kind of killed a lot of his friendships.
Right.
But it's also the reason why he was able to move forward regardless of everything else that was happening,
right,
and still create Apple or Macintosh back in the day. Steve Wozniak actually had a TED talk speaking about that, when he speaks about the reality deflection bubble, or reality deflection zone, whatever it is that they call it, where a lot of entrepreneurs are able to kind of zone into what they're trying to create,
right,
and kind of ignore everything else, what the situation is, what the country is doing, are we going through war, or whatever it is that's happening, and move on from that and create from that opportunity.
Yeah.
The person that's done that greatly has been Warren Buffett,
right,
where his first company was during a time of war,
right,
when he took over pretty much everything that he currently has now. But that was him seeing opportunity at a time when everybody else was looking the other way,
yeah,
and blaming all the resources that weren't there, and et cetera. Right. So I do hear what you're saying. And so from my side, I would think that a part that a lot of people kind of struggle with within business is the news and everything else that's happening outside. And what I want to know from you is, how do you keep yourself in that space and in that zone that you've created, so that you're not influenced by everything that's happening outside of your range and outside of your control? You're not being infiltrated by whatever thoughts, whatever ideals that are happening outside of your control, and you're able to stay within your own pocket and create.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to lie if I say there's some days where it doesn't get to you, you know, and so I think there's an extreme human element to it, which is, you know, you go, like, things are tough out there.
Yeah.
But I do think something that we did well within Basilei, which, if I could do it again, like if I could go back to day one, then I would do it again in this particular way, which is, we identified from the beginning what our vision was.
Okay.
And so that meant that whenever, you know, we find out, whenever I find myself in a place where we're either strapped for resource, or there's bad news coming in because of the economy, or, you know, you're having a tough month or whatever, you go, okay, well, why did I start? You know.
Okay.
And there's been a million books written by incredible, you know, Simon Sinek, you know, Jim Collins, you know, guys that have written incredible, you know, Start With Why, that have just done an incredible job of articulating this principle, which is, you've got to know, you've got to identify from the beginning why you're in this race. You know?
Okay.
And so I would say that helps me to knuckle down, to continue to attempt to innovate, to draw inspiration from environments that are growing, and to try and find small low risk, cost-effective ways to implement that into the business. And we've got an incredible team around us, so that makes it.
Actually, what we're going to do is that we're going to caveat to including some of the team, and some guys are going to join us, and you guys are going to hear from some of the guys that work here at Basilei, and some guys that have added to the story of creating this place, and what's also kind of driven them into continuing with this dream and with this process, and what they draw from, because at the end of the day, a lot of us have people that join us within these things. And getting to a point where you're able to motivate your people is everything. Right. And so I do want to hear part of their story within this process. Go. So guys. So we did the first part of the interview and of the chat with Izzy. And as Izzy was saying, that they've got some guys that work with them and that have been part of this journey from the beginning. And it's always a good thing to actually also get some of your guys with you when it comes to building whatever it is that you're building, but also kind of getting them clued up with the why of the business, as Izzy was talking about. He always goes back to the why whenever it becomes difficult. From my side, I don't know if you guys see it, but I'm seeing double, it's like you're blurry here. Like I think I can just separate them with the earring thing. And so I'm going to go straight into the question, and then we'll go on from there. I think from my side, Izzy, the one thing I'd like to know is what you guys, what it is that you guys do, so what you serve. Maybe the guy can help with that. And then from there, let's just get into a bit more about the identity of the business, and then how you guys keep that going on a daily basis.
Right, absolutely. What do we serve, guys? Tell the viewers.
So we serve breakfast, lunch, we serve breakfast, lunch and supper. Also pastries and patisseries as well as coffee.
And so you guys make that here, right?
Yeah.
Make everything. Yeah.
Make everything.
Yeah.
And
we don't roast our own beans, but
other than that, everything else is made here. So you guys bake everything, all the croissants, all of that. Dope croissants, by the way. Dope croissants. And from there, I think the only other thing I'd like to know is how do you guys put in practice every day what we've been talking about the why on a consistent basis? I mean, how do you guys do that? Because a lot of businesses struggle with that, and I'd like to know how you do it.
Okay. I think the why we always go for that is that with Basilei, I think it also like one of our main drawing points for the company is that we always strive for excellence. So every day we always treat the new day fresh, we dine every day, and dining in means that we make the best cup in the morning, we try and perfect our recipes every morning.
Right.
Every time our customer experience also adds a lot to that, because whenever someone comes in, we try and approach them with the utmost kindness, the utmost gratitude. We always try to be as generous as we can, we always seat them nicely, treat them nicely. And I think also a nice little ad is that we always offer them a jug of water and 2 glasses, and we just think, why not?
And you move on from there.
Yeah, that's basically how we start every day in this establishment.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And so I think from my side, what this speaks to is just being able to be consistent with your people, and that why is the reason why this can happen. And establishing that why from the beginning and working with your people from that why from the beginning is why your people actually go with you till the end. And when it becomes difficult, everybody knows why we did this to begin with, why we started this. And I think as a small business, that's a very important part. I'm going to let Izzy say something to you guys, maybe challenge you guys in a way, or maybe think about something. I'm putting him on the spot right now, he don't prepare for this. So I'm going to put him on the spot and ask him to tell you guys something, or challenge you guys in a way that maybe I haven't, or that you guys haven't thought about, and then we're going to close with that. Is there anything else that you think you'd like to say to other entrepreneurs or small businesses or people that are thinking of starting businesses in maybe 2 or 3 words?
Absolutely, yeah. I think you've got to be uncompromising in what you believe is a quality offering.
Okay.
So in a cash-strapped, socio-economic environment, you've got to give people reason to spend their disposable income with your business. And if you cut corners because you're tight on cash flow or because things are tough, then long term, what that means, your brand deteriorates, your offering deteriorates, and you lose customer loyalty. And so for us, we just firmly believe that even if it means that you on a personal level, as the owner of the business, or whatever the case may be, you got to feel, the crunch for the sake of being uncompromising your offering, believing that that is going to pay long-term dividends by building consistent, loyal customer base. And so we're just uncompromising on that. Like excellence is our criteria for how it is that we approach it. So, yeah.
I hear you. So I think from my side, that's my challenge. My challenge is that stay up and stay up with the quality. Don't compromise your quality, and that won't compromise your why. I think everything that we're speaking about here, it just goes back to the same point of remember why you started, and don't compromise any of that. And I love you guys. Every day I say that I love you guys, and thank you for watching this bit of the vlog and the content. And I'm hoping you guys are having a great day. Yeah, peace, man. Thank you.